As for culture, I mean, you obviously have the culture of all the different minorities, but you can get that anywhere. I guess the most unique culture was with the Alaskan Natives, or the First Nations people of Canada. And I got a chance to actually serve with both of them. I served on an Indian reservation in Alaska called Metlakatla, and I served in a Canadian village for the First Nations while I was in Whitehorse. And there are people that are very, I guess I'd describe them as stoic. They're very quiet, they're very reserved, but when you get to know them, they're some of the most generous and most loving people I've ever met in my life. It takes a little bit to like break down that trust barrier sometimes with a few of them, but oftentimes they're your best friends by the end of it. So it wasn't uncommon for us to have people or tribes try to induct us or invite us to what they call potlatches, which are celebrations of life, or have us become a part of their family, which I thought was kind of strange. But I mean, I loved it because they're the most generous people. Their religion I found really interesting. The indigenous religion I found really interesting, particularly because I found that it had a lot of similarities to the gospel of Jesus Christ. I taught a family while I was in one of these villages by the name of Smart's family, and the matriarch of the family was just this wonderful woman who would let us in, and we'd teach her twice a week. And periodically we'd come back and she'd say, "Elders, I had a dream." And she would describe a dream to us, and it would be something along the lines of her walking, and all of a sudden a man dressed in white appeared from heaven, and angels were singing around him. And she's like, "What does this dream mean?" Or another one, she had an out-of-body experience kind of in her dream where she floated above her body and she floated into heaven, and she met these men who would tell her to listen to us and to listen to the things that we were teaching. And so those people, I guess, are really like visionary people that have the ability to receive revelation in that way. And so I really loved talking to them. One of the tragedies of the culture is that it's been really influenced by the settlers, or the people that colonized the areas, and so there's a lot of poor relations between what they call the white man and these tribes sometimes, where they had a Russian Orthodox priest or a Catholic priest come in and do terrible things to children in the boarding schools. And so there was a lot of barriers that we had to break down and trust with the people. But I found as I worked with the patriarchs or the matriarchs of these societies, anybody would let us in their door because they trusted so much and they considered us a part of them. And so it was a really special thing to be able to work with all these different tribes, from the Eskimos in the north to the Tlingit down in the southeast. They're all very unique and different, but they all have that bond, and they all really believe in their families. And so they were a lot of fun to teach and to work with.